Alright, hello everybody, AC Brick Films here, and welcome to my Lego Viking Faction Showcase. If you are new to the channel, I am a Dungeon Master for Dungeons & Dragons who is working on a full-scale Lego campaign, and have been showing off some of my collection of figs and builds that I have for that campaign. If you did not see my last video, we went over a couple extra knight factions that I have, so if that sounds interesting to you, I'll put it somewhere on the screen here and you can click the link and check that out. With that said, let's jump right into this faction. This video is also going to be a little bit more unique than my past couple of videos because I have some builds to show you. These are the only builds that I have that pertain to this faction. It is not enough to make like a full zone quite yet, but I think that they are relevant to today's video. So starting off, I wanted to take a look at these 4 figs in the front. They are all from the Collectable Minifigure Series, although they are all from different series of CMF. So starting from left to right, we have the Hun Warrior, who I know is technically not a Viking, but the hat is very similar to the aesthetic. He's got this sort of like messed up like leather padded armor, and then this really cool brown cape that they give you. Obviously I have 2 you can see in the back, although that one has a orc war sword from the Lord of the Rings sets. Moving over, we have just the Viking. This guy is a classic, probably the coolest Viking minifig that is out there. He's got this helmet that we've seen in different colors now, but not with this gold printed trim. He even has back printing for a cape, which I don't know why they did that when they gave him a cape, but it's just cool to have that option. You can use the cape for something else. And then of course we have the Snow Guardian. Again, not technically a Viking, but I figure coming from the north in this cold environment, he fits right into this faction. He comes with this wolf, just a cool fig. And then at the very end here, we have the Viking Woman CMF, which is just a really cool sort of like Valkyrie. I like that the hair is actually molded onto the helmet. It's sort of just the classic Viking helmet, but with a little bit of a twist. And so moving back to our second row, we have another Hun Warrior, and then we start to get into some of the more classic era of Viking figures. And I really like these big printed shields that these guys have. They just seem very cool, and I'm very nostalgic for this era of Viking in particular. I really like this one. I think he reminds me a lot of Leif Erikson, and I just think that that's a really cool fig to have. They're just some extra Vikings that I had from the classic era. I would like to get more of these classic era sets. The ship would be really cool to find, as well as the like big Viking fortress. That's this big like wall. I can imagine that being some sort of arena where they do combat and have tournaments inside of, so I can definitely see where that would fit into the campaign. If I can find that for a reasonable price, maybe at some point I'll pick that up. One quick thing I wanted to mention about this era of fig before I move on is I really like the aesthetic of these chainmail printed headpieces. I believe I only have one, but I wish that they would do more of this because I think not just only for Vikings, but for knights that this would look really cool on certain figs if they brought back this printing. Alright, so these last 8 figures actually come from the respective sets that I have in the back here. Starting with these 4, they actually come with the 3-in-1 Viking longboat, which is such a cool set. I really respect the brick-built shields and the brick-built oxen. I know that in 3-in-1 they pretty much always just brick build. I remember this being a very fun set to be piecing together. And then of course it comes with the Sea Serpent. This guy is dope. As someone who is doing this specifically for Dungeons & Dragons, this is just a boss battle waiting to happen. Looking more closely at the figs, I've actually kitted this one and this one out with shields. These are more classic era shields, so they do not come with these shields. I really like this headpiece on this one figure. It's very detailed, reminds me of like a Valkyrie. And then these 2 just have some very standard, I think you can still get these torsos on Pick-a-Brick and that torso. But yeah, these are just good standard 4 Viking figs, no complaints here. And this headpiece is just really crazy to get. And last but certainly not least, we are going to look at the Viking Village set. In my personal opinion, this is probably the best Viking set. Like I said, I really like the Viking Fortress from the OG line of Viking sets, but this is just such a well-built set. You can take all the roofs off and you can, for instance, look into the blacksmith's shop. I believe that you can push this little lever and the flames like bellow up from the chimney, and there's all sorts of cool gear in there. You can also take this roof off of the main building, and inside there's sort of this long house with food being cooked on the inside and weapons on the walls and shields on the walls and a throne. Really just cool. I like the playability and the accessibility in this. You can even break apart the tower here and climb around inside of it. You can knock over these barrels. There's a lot of really cool play features, and I think for a set that I'm using again for D&D, play features are really awesome because it just adds to the physicality of the experience. I wanted to flip this set around to the back so you can see you can take this wall off here for the tower, and you can climb inside, and there's a ladder and a pumpkin growing. There's also this little like cave you can hide out under. Just a lot of really cool stuff, little hidden Easter eggs inside of this set. Another thing I think is worth mentioning is that this like glyph on the rock and these ornate sigils that decorate the door and these markings on the barrels, these are all printed tile pieces. I see a lot of people complain about Lego using stickers, and stickers don't hold up against age very well. I think this set is really awesome in that there are no sticker pieces. Anything you're seeing here like this is just printed right onto the tile, so it's of super high quality. The figs in this set are also really cool, starting over here with the archer. He's got these really awesome sort of printed legs and torso, very unique style. I know you can get all of these pieces on Pick-a-Brick now. I don't know how long they're going to last on Pick-a-Brick because I believe that this Viking set is retired now. So I would pick them up while you can because I could easily see some really cool customs being made with the parts. This figure is really cool. They have these chainmail printed legs and this really cool blonde hairpiece. They remind me a lot of Lagatha from the show Vikings. If you haven't seen that, I recommend you check that out because that's a really cool Viking show. Then there's this lady who I think is supposed to be the blacksmith. She's got this really cool printed Mjolnir piece and this paintbrush, really unique maroon colored legs. I am hoping that this is, of course, from a newer era of Lego, so hopefully this maroon stands the test of time because old maroon, as anyone who collects Lego will know, is brittle and can crumble into dust at any moment. Finally, we have this guy, which is actually very similar to a couple of the other Vikings that we got on the longboat, but he does come with these cool pants and his own shield. This is just a cool sword to be getting more of, very detailed, better than most Lego swords. So yeah, that's about it for my Viking army. This is a really cool faction. I am excited to start showing you guys some set pieces. Hopefully I will be setting up some maps and showing you some maps that I build soon. But I just really like this faction. It gives me a very Skyrim sort of vibe when I look at all of it together like this. So yeah guys, that'll about do it for this video showcasing my Viking army and a couple cool locations and builds that I have for them. I just want to take a moment and thank you all for your continued support on this channel. The past 3 videos that I have uploaded have all done very well, and it has surprised me a lot the positive reception that they are receiving and how much people are interested in what I am doing. So if you would like to see more of the content, make sure you subscribe, it always helps out, and then turn that little bell notification button on, and that will notify you when I upload another one of these videos, because believe it or not, I do actually have a lot more stuff to show you, so we have just scratched the surface of what I have within my collection. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.